Please welcome my good friend, Mr. John Firstbrook.
I know I'm a giant, but can you see me over the podium? I thought today, driving down at 6 o'clock or just before this morning, I kept thinking about how to frame this talk for you folks today. And as it invariably does happen at these meetings, you get the best ideas. I'm just so inspired by what I've heard today. Aren't all of you so far? So this is what I came up with. I'm probably one of the luckiest people you've ever met. I had an opportunity, and many of the other speakers have talked of this today, but get this, I had the opportunity to meet with Bill Andrew, Jim Burton, Tom McQuillan, Joe Dickstein, Grant Fairley, Butch Bowden. They're the legends in the business. We're working at it. But here's how it came about. Toby Hull, who is my mentor and has been for a great many years, since I was, before I was 20 actually. And the point I'm making here, and it's a really important one because it's been part of the meeting today constantly. I got invited to be what they called is a bag boy. And here's what a bag boy does when you're invited to a meeting with the likes of those gentlemen. And it was their study group, not mine. But they invited my best friend David Hull and I to these meetings. And can you imagine being in the room the day they formed KALU? It was amazing. And I think that's the part of the business that really, for me, the inspiration that we get from meetings like this and my good fortune to be associated with those guys, wow, I really am the luckiest guy. Anyway, on to my more formal remarks. It really is easier than you think. I hope today to share with you 10 simple steps that should help you build a solid foundation. Now, one of the problems with speaking number whatever is that a lot of the best ideas have been shared. But I have to say, that's because they work. Ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to use them. It's a big part of our business. A little bit of background about myself might help. I started our business, I was 19 years old. I had not yet turned 20. I was a high school graduate, and much to my son's chagrin, back then they had a grade 13. In those days, I was sitting at my friend David Hull's house, at his parents' house, pardon me, and we were just chatting. And at the time, when I thought about what my choices were in a career, boy, they were a little slim. Frankly, I was a pretty good skier, and I thought that maybe what I might do was go on what's called the professional circuit back in the day. It no longer exists. But the real reasons I wanted to go is because I wanted to run away. I wanted to have fun. Can you imagine wanting to have fun at 19? I don't get it. But anyway, I did. But my friend David's dad, Toby Hull, he's a legend in our business. To this day, at 82 years of age, he piped up. He was sort of listening out of the corner of his ear, as parents do. And he said to me, he said, "John, I have a question." I said, "Yes, what's that?" He said, "Are you good enough to win?" Wow, I wasn't expecting that. I thought for a minute and I said, "You know, not really. I don't think so, but it sure will be fun." He says, "John, maybe it's time you thought of a career. Maybe it's time to get serious." Wow, that was different. Serious meant a real job, a career. I will spare you the details, but 37 years later, here I am talking with you fine folks. My hope today is to give you a few ideas that have helped me enjoy a wonderful career helping people. If you think about it, what we really do is we get paid to help people by removing much of the risk from their families and businesses. You and I are the only ones that walk into a funeral with a check. As the years go by, I have never had a spouse walk up to me and say, "By the way, John, what kind of insurance did my husband or wife own?" They just want to know how much they had. As David Cowper, a brilliant agent from the past, used to say, And I learned this at the study group where I was bag boy. He used to say, never let a client sell you on passing his or her obligations onto their families. Get them to take care of the obligations they created themselves. Well, on to the ideas that I've found helpful. I should start by saying one of the most amazing things about our industry is all the sharing that we do. I mean, look at this. It's amazing. So if you've heard this before, and you've heard some, and you have this morning, they're great ideas. Put them into your program and your process. It's really important. Number one, be committed. Is it up there? Can you put that up? Okay, be committed to yourself and your clients as a whole. This concept seems so simple. It's really easy to say, but day after day, it's truly important to your success. A great many of you older brokers in the room are very successful, and I bet if you think back to the early days, you'll agree you've been committed to your success from the very beginning. This is a foundation on which you can build a strong future. People can always tell if you have your own interests ahead of theirs. Commitment comes in different forms. Here are a couple that I've always been conscious of. Commit the time it takes to be successful. Today, that's unusual, but it's true. As many of you know, Rome was not built in a day. This is a business for people who know how to work hard. Be committed to continuing your education, as others have shared. The game changes all the time in the financial services industry. Be current. For you newer people in the business, had you chosen to be an accountant or a lawyer or even a doctor, think of the hours you would have had to invest before you could even practice. This business is no different. If you want to prosper, be committed every day. Simple in theory, very hard to do. Number two, understand your personal motivation. Many years ago, the $1 Million Roundtable released a book called Timeless Treasures. This was a collection of short stories on what makes people successful. One point I got a great deal of inspiration from was asking myself, deep inside, what motivates me? I thought what motivated me was things, material things, cars, houses, boats, toys. But I've never figured out a way, and nor has anyone else, how to take those things with them when they go to their great reward. What I've also learned is what real value is. It genuinely means family, how to treat your loved ones. That's what people are really interested in. Our industry is about protecting people. Everyone here today got into the business for different reasons. But I bet that most of you stay because you enjoy helping others. My real satisfaction is derived from it, which in turn makes my tough times a little easier and my good times a little better. The idea is to find out deep within what your personal motivation is. It will take you to new levels of production you won't believe. Number three, find a need and fill it. If we look at entrepreneurs who have truly made a difference in the world, they've all found a solution to a need. The examples are many. Here are just a few. Henry Ford invented the modern-day production line. Prior to that, cars were produced one at a time. Alexander Graham Bell, we all know what he did. He invented the telephone, so Richard can keep track of his 1031. More recently, right here in Toronto, Ted Rogers showed us a better way to watch TV and how to harness the power of the internet. My point is this: our prospects have problems. We have solutions to their problems. The great Ben Feldman, who's been mentioned here a number of times today, taught us about creating dollars for pennies. So I thought yesterday, and I truly did, here is a little schematic I did up for you. It says life insurance at the top, and it's got 4 pennies, creates loonies, creates liquidity, and yes, that's a real $1,000 bill. And a funny story about this, it's on our computer now, so it doesn't work the same way, but truthfully, I had a $1,000 bill, and everyone, no matter how wealthy they were when I was talking to them, wondered if they could have that if they bought. Absolutely, depending on what we did. Anyway, that's true, I did it, I truly did. Anyway, find out what your personal motivation is. It's just unbelievable. So my point is this, our prospects have problems, we have solutions. Use the penny for dollars. It's just magical how they understand it. I know this one's a little tough, but it truly is true. Work hard and be consistent. I want to point out that I'm still a work in progress. Just ask my wife. I believe that after 37 years, though, I have worked hard. But truthfully, and I do not mean to stand on any soapbox, but what I've learned from successful people is that very few of them have made it on sheer luck. Usually successful entrepreneurs have worked extremely hard to create their own luck. My idea is to reach out to a successful person whom you know in your community and ask them how hard they worked. I'll just bet they'll be glad to tell you. The thing here is, I've never seen it in reverse. I've also learned that people want to work with people who are consistent. The ideas that I have today are very similar to the ones of many years ago. The difference is my clients have grown, and therefore so have I. As said earlier, this business is for workers. I also believe we need to build strong relationships, long-term relationships, with the carriers and the people who support us in order to serve our clients' best needs. If you are consistent with them, they will really appreciate the relationship that you have, and everyone wins big. Number 5, learn the art of not talking. In other words, quiet, listen. It's true, my family and friends will tell you, I love to talk, but I've also learned as a professional salesperson, we must listen far more. This happens at many points in the sales process. The fact find, learning what problems they have. Ask a prospect how they see solving their own issues. Listen to their ideas. It will help you answer their objections. Watch for buying triggers in people. So often we're so busy showing these exciting numbers and all the various things that we think we have to do, but the prospect's way ahead of us. They're already ready to go. And of course, don't forget the close. Let a client buy. Bill Andrew told the story this morning. It was the longest 2-3 minutes of his life, maybe longer. It's true. When you present the solution, it's a good time to be quiet and listen. And never forget that if you're referable, people will want to refer you. And I think that Barry Pascal said that, and I think it's a wonderful idea. It really is simple, but valuable sales techniques, 2 valuable sales techniques. Listen twice as much as you talk. Number 6, the deal before the deal. Today, I only have the 24 hours available. It's the same I had yesterday, and it'll be likely the same tomorrow. This is why we must see our time as a valuable asset. That being said, we need to learn the art of the deal before the deal. As we invest the time it takes to make a sale, if you ask caring, sincere questions, at the beginning you will create a strong relationship. After all, a person who goes from a prospect to a client is really saying that they trust you. In my opinion, trust is the single most important factor in any relationship. Be yourself, be sincere. That is how people will look at you as you embark down the sales process. And to me, that is the deal before the deal. Number 7 then is create trust. Stephen Covey, as well as many others, are required reading for life insurance agents. because of what we do is based on long-term trust. To prove my point, let me ask you guys a question. When we're placing business with a major carrier, what we are really saying is that we trust them to provide for our clients' well-being. If we are known to be honest and trustworthy, and we put their best interests ahead of our own, I have found, like many of you, we always come out ahead of the game. Make it a foundation for your success. If over the years our reputation is that of a trustworthy nature, people are more likely to buy your ideas and solutions. In other words, trust is paramount to our success. Number 8, give back to the community. Every time I drive by a hospital, a school, or just a named street, like Rogers Way as an example, it bears the name of a person who gave. I notice that they are always our most successful citizens. Now, not all of us can give money, but I have met some of my largest relationships from working on and in the community. Your talents are the very things that make you a successful life insurance agent. And they are the very things, funnily enough, that the community really needs. Passion for others, hard work, belief in what you do, these are the qualities that are so transferable from our industry. I have never met a giving person who won't communicate with another like-minded individual. Everyone is different. That is what makes the world so great. We all have something to give. Number 9, I realize that this may not seem like the foundation from which you can build and grow a successful life insurance practice. However, it truly is key. What people want to know is that you and the experts you work with know the finer points of all the ideas you are presenting. I can't tell you how many times over the years we've been awarded the business because the prospect understood what I was saying, because I simplified it. I borrowed this idea from the greats of our industry. This is a concept the $1 Million Roundtable has preached for years. Today, all the major companies have internal accountants, lawyers, helpers. This has made it so much easier for us to stay focused and be problem solvers. We deliver a concise set of ideas that are very consumer accountable. Together as a team, we will grow and prosper. Clients will act positively if they understand your solution works to solve their problems. What they don't understand, ladies and gentlemen, they will not buy. Simplicity sells. Remember the pennies for dollar concept? It really works. Number 10, find a market and specialize. This is one of the business builders that will really propel you to new production levels. Many years ago, a client of mine said to me, "John, never let me outgrow you." What he was really saying was, make sure you understand the problems that I have as a business owner. In order to help entrepreneurs, you must be an entrepreneur. This was back in 1980s, so our industry still operated in a career agency system. As I left the career agency system and started what is more common today, I started my own business. In the essence of time, I will skip telling you all the hurdles I faced, but I will instead tell you that I learned that I was the last to get paid. I knew what rent meant. I knew what marketing costs cost, staff expenses, etc. And I faced the reality my clients did. In this way, my clients knew I understood their problems and that I could relate to their issues. Very important in the process. Since those early days, we have progressed to work with a particular group of entrepreneurs. These businesses have allowed us to grow and prosper. I worked to become an expert in their business. I sponsored events. We spoke about succession planning and life insurance as a way to transfer their businesses and solve their families' issues. Today, as a result, they are very tightly connected to our company. Lastly, tell your prospects what your passion is. In my case, I'm so proud to be their life insurance agent. In closing, I hope the 10 little ideas that I've presented to you today will be of some help, and that you go to the best heights ever with more to come for the balance of the day. Thank you very much.